a small recap. A small recap about the earlier session. First, if you're going for a research, what is the first thing you're going to do? That is identifying the problem. The problem, what you're going to find out in your research. So the research problem undertaken for the study must be carefully selected. So every researcher must find out his own problem for researching, which should not be borrowed from others. So a problem must spring from the researcher's mind like a plant springing from its own seed. Say, for example, if our eyes need glasses, it is not the doctors alone who decide about the number or the power of the lens we require. So we have to see ourselves and enable the doctor to prescribe for us the right power by cooperating with him. So a researcher cannot alone do or carry out his problems alone. So he needs a guide. A research guide can at the most only help a researcher choose a subject. Okay. So when you identify the problem, the next is you have to formulate the objectives. After formulating the objectives, you go for review of literature. That is, the researcher has to go for a search of previous studies or previous studies done on the same topic. After overviewing the previous studies, the researcher will find out an unanswered question or an unresolved problem relating to the same topic. Here falls the research gap. Here you will be finding the or identifying the gap of your study. And now your study will pulls you in a different direction. After identifying your research gap, you have to design your conceptual framework. This conceptual framework, and then for designing a conceptual framework, your design have to answer certain questions like what is the study about, why is the study being made, where will the study be carried out, then what type of data is required, where can be the required data be found, and what period of time your study includes, and what will be your sample design, then what are all the techniques you are using in your data collection, then how will you analyze your data, and in what style will the report be prepared. So you have to answer all these questions in this research conceptual framework. Then you'll determine the variable, and then you'll frame out the hypothesis. After framing out the hypothesis, the researcher will go for a data collection. There are two types of data collection. One is primary data and the secondary data. Primary data in the sense is a data which is a raw data, where it is a raw data or a first-hand data by the researcher, which is gathered by the researcher himself from the respondent. Or then the secondary data means it is the data collected by someone else earlier and you use it for your study purpose. Then comes the hypothesis testing. In the hypothesis testing, first you have to set the level of significance. Then you choose your test statistics. That is how you are using your tools or statistical tools to test your level of significance, and then you draw the conclusion. After overcoming all these stages, next comes the final stage is the writing of a report. Okay. Okay. First we'll begin with an outline. That is with an introduction. Then we'll discuss about the purpose and importance of research report. Then we'll understand the steps of writing the research report. I'll give you some tips for writing the research report. Then we'll talk about different document styles which have to be followed while writing a report. Then the main components which should be contained in the report. And finally, we will conclude with a summary. First thing is, what is a research report, or what is a report writing means? It is a writing of a report is the last step in a research study, and report requires a set of skills somewhat different from those called for in respect of the earlier stages of research. And next, the research study for the research task remains incomplete till the report has been returned or it is presented. It is a main part. So, description of what has been done during the period of study or during the research time is called as the report writing. Next is purpose of, what is the purpose of research report? The purpose of a research report is to clearly present the findings of your study. It also helps in examining the validity of the generalizations made during the research. So it offers a guidance for a future research showing the next step for others who are interested in studying the same topic further. So these are the purpose of the research report. Next, we'll come to the importance of a research report. I have given three importance of a importance for a research report. The first thing is knowledge transfer. This knowledge transfer, why it is important? Because it allows a researcher to share their findings without others. Say, for example, I'll give you when a researcher is making a study on a climate change. So, with the research and with the result or the conclusion or the report given by the researcher, it can inform a policy maker about the climatic change, or it can give more details to the scientist, or it can give some information to the public about the key trends and the solution. So this is an example for it, for knowledge transfer. And next is identification of knowledge gap. You can, so through a research report, the researcher can point out the areas that still need further exploration. Say for here, I'll give you another example. When a study is made on the effect of a new drug. So from that study, we can identify a gap, how a report might reveal a lack of research on its long-term side effects. So there we can find a gap. So report writing helps us to identify a research gap. And next is to guide to writing a research report. So it provides a structure for a future researcher to follow. Say, for example, if a well-written report on, say, it might be on marketing trend. So you could guide other researchers who are following you on how to organize your findings, how to bring out their methods, and how to conclude it. So it gives a guideline to the future researchers. So these are the main importance of a research report. And next is how you will gather the data for your report. First one is understand the problem. First, you will need to fully understand the issue, or first you have to fully understand your topic you are going to research. Here, I'll give you an example. If you're studying the impact of online education means, you need to clearly define on what aspect you want to focus on. Whether you want to focus on a student performance, or you want to focus on an engagement, or you want to focus on management side or your educational institution. So you have to clearly understand first on what topic you are researching. And next is you have to know what report seeks to achieve. You should be clear on what the research or the report aims to accomplish, whether you are trying to solve a problem, whether you're going to answer a question or provide a new insight. Okay. Next is you will how you can gather data for the report by identify the audience. First, it's very crucial to know who will be reading the report. Once you finish your research and have submitted your report, before writing, you should focus on who will be reading your report. Is it for academic purpose, or a company, or a policy maker? Say, for example, if your audience or if you're a reader reading the report are an educators means, you might focus more on practical insights for teaching methods. And next comes the create surveys or questionnaires. To collect data, you can go through surveys or questionnaires. It will be very useful. In this also, I would like to give an example. If the if research is on student satisfaction with online education, means you can design a survey to ask the students about their experiences, challenges, and preferences. Okay, so these are all how to gather a research data for a report. Next, we'll go for a steps in writing a research report. What are all the steps you have to follow while writing a research report? The first step is logical analysis of the subject matter. First, you need to carefully analyze the subject. You have to break it down logically to understand the key points and how they connect. Say, for example, if you're researching the impact of social media on mental health, say if your topic is on it, the impact of social media on mental health, you would first identify the key factors and how they influence each other. This is the logical analysis of your subject matter. Next step is preparation of final outline. Once you have your analysis, create a clear outline for the report. This will help you to organize the structure of the report, right? Say, for example, the outline might include the sessions like introduction, methodology, findings, and conclusion. And we'll go to the third step is preparation of a rough draft. After outlining, start writing the rough draft. How you need not worry about the perfection at this stage. You should just focus on putting your ideas on a paper. Right. And the next step is rewriting and polishing. The next you have to revise your data. Once you prepare a rough draft, next you have to revise your data. This step involves rewriting and improving your writing to make it clearer and more concise. Okay. The fifth step is preparation of final bibliography. You should make sure that a proper list of all the sources you have used for your research. Say, for example, you might have to list the academic journals you have gone through, the books you have referred, and the website you have gone in your bibliography. It should be so. The preparation of the final bibliography is that. Next is writing the final draft. Finally, write a polished final version of your report, making sure all sections are in order and the language is precise. So it is very, very important that your language should be understand very simple. Okay, these are 6 steps which are involved in writing a research report. And next, I would like to give you some tips before starting writing a research report. First, you have to prepare the content before starting to write and start from the basic. Then you have to keep the targeted audience in your mind while selecting a format that is clear, logical, and obvious to them. Then you should have a clear objective of your research, and you have to establish your working model. Then you have to gather all the informations about the research topic, and you have to read aloud while writing. Even spellings and grammar should be checked properly. Then you have to discuss only the discoveries that are significant. That is the main thing over here. Then you have to try and stick to the survey questions only. Then you can the graphs must be clear enough so that they understand themselves. Then the audience or the layman is reading your report, means it should be very clear enough for them to understand. And the messages should be clear, and your title should be creative, and you should give an effective conclusion and suggestion. And the next is on document style. When writing a report, it is important to follow a standard format that ensures your findings are presented in an orderly and a logical way. It is very, very important. Every university, most of the universities are following each model. So a researcher have to follow, when he is asked to follow certain model, means he has to follow that model only. So a standard format is used for writing the research report in which the author presents the research in an orderly and a logical manner. There are several styles in writing a report. One is APA. They call it as APA style, MLA style, then CMO style. Most oftenly, many universities or any publishers using style as APA style only, which is abbreviated as American Psychological Association. This style is commonly used in researchers like social sciences such as psychology, sociology, anthropology, education, and nursing. So this APA format will emphasize the clarity, structure, and a proper citation. And next is the MLA. MLA means Modern Language Association. This type of style is often used in humanities, like researchers in literature and in cultural studies. This MLA, that means Modern Language Association style, focuses on author page citations and works cited pages. The next is CMOS style, which is abbreviated as Chicago Manual of Style. This style is very popular for researchers doing on business, history, and fine arts. It offers two citation system, that is notes and bibliography, which is used in humanities, and author data, which is used in sciences. So each style serves a specific purpose depending on the discipline and ensures your report in professional and easy to read. So most probably in most of the university in education field, the most followed style preparing a report as document style is APA style. And next, we'll move on to the components. This is the main part of report writing. What are all the contents inside it is when you submit a report, it should be in this format only. I have given now, let's look at the components of the research report in APA style, that is American Psychological Association style. The first, the layout of research report means as to what the research report should contain is, first thing is preliminary page, second is the body of the report, and the third one is supplementary material of or referencing section. Preliminary pages. What are the preliminary pages and what does it contain? Is the preliminary pages comes at the beginning of the report. When you are preparing a report, the first page is the preliminary. First few pages are called as the preliminary pages. What are all the pages contained in it are, first is the title page. Title page. This title page displays the title of the report and the researcher name. It contains the institution name and also the submission date. This is the content of the title page. These are these details should be in the title page. Next is the researchers or the students declaration page. In this page, a statement by the researcher declaring that the work done by him is original and it is not plagiarized. Okay. So you are mentioning in that declaration page that his work is done by his own and not copied from any other research. The next is a certificate. This certificate will be given by the signed by the research supervisor, or it may be a head of the department or by the institution. So it is a formal certificate verifying the authenticity of the research signed by the guide. And next is the acknowledgement. See, this section. This is a section to thank those who supported the research, such as it may be your mentor, your institution, and your department head. Anybody you can thank in there. So this acknowledgement section of a research report gives you an opportunity to professionally express your gratitude towards your organization or any individual that played a key role in supporting your study. Okay. And this is, I have given you an example. What is the content to be given in the acknowledgement? Here is, I would like, the researcher can write in this way. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to my research supervisor, Dr. His guide, for his invaluable guidance and support throughout the study. I am also gratitude to the name of the institution for providing the necessary resources and facility to conduct this research. So this is the content which should be in the acknowledgement page. Right. And the next one is abstract. An abstract, this is a brief summary of a research report. This can be written only when the paper is fully completed, only when your research work is fully done. So this abstract should be written or within for about 150 to 250 words. It can be in 1 or 2 paragraphs, right? So I would like to tell you what should be included in the abstract. The first thing is an abstract, it serves as a concise summary of the research report. And it must include some following these key elements. First is the major hypothesis. This clearly states the primary assumption or the research question your study is aiming to address. This is very important in the content of the abstract. And next comes the summary of the method. Here you have to briefly describe the methodology you have used for your research and the approaches used in the research. Say, for example, a survey of 500 participants or 100 participants was conducted to gather the data on a, for example, consumer behavior or consumer satisfaction. Like. And next is the outline of key results. Outline of key results. This will highlight the most important findings or the discoveries from the research. So here, what are all the analysis part will be coming here. Say the analysis showed that analysis part result will be coming here. For example, the analysis showed a 60% of increase in the customer's trust when personalized content was used. So this is the example for how you have to summary that up. Then comes the overview of conclusion. You have to summarize the main conclusion and the implications derived from your result. So these are all the main thing which has to be included in the abstract. That is the major hypothesis the researchers have carried out, and the summary of the method, then outline of the key result, and even the overview of the conclusion. So the abstract must have these 4 content for a research. And next is the body of the research. Previously, we have finished the preliminary pages. Okay. Now we are going to the main body of the report. The body of the report uh, consists of 5 chapters. So let's have a small break over here and discuss and later on we can discuss. Meanwhile, you'll be getting poll questions. You can, in your chat box, you can answer for it. Yeah, coming to the next part is body of the report. Okay, body of the report. The body of the report consists of 5 chapters. Might be it can go, you can researcher according to your type of research, you can go for 6 to 7 chapters. More than that, it is not possible or it will not be good for a research. Okay, chapter 1. The chapter 1 consists of the introduction. What are the introduction part? Okay, chapter 1 introduction. So, first thing is introduction to the study. This session will introduce, in this session, you should introduce the main concept, then theory or a model which is being studied. And it should provide a theoretical foundation of your research. Okay, and next is introduction to the organization. Here, you have to describe about the organization or the industry on which your study is being made, or the situation the research focuses on, so that it will help the reader to understand the context of your research or your study. So that's why we are following the APA style. So this APA style consists of the following way, a pattern or a format of giving a report to the audience. Okay. And the next one is need or a significance of the study. In this section, you can explain why the study is very important for you and what gap it aims to fill. So you found out a gap in a research review of literature, right? So that gap, it should be filled here. What gap it aims to fill, you have to mention in this part, and how it contributes to existing knowledge. Okay, so the need or the significance of the study means it should explain why the study is important for the society or for you or for whom you are presenting it, and what is the gap it aims to fill and how it should is contributing to the existing knowledge. Okay, and next is coming the statement of the problem. Here you have to clearly define the problem or the study is aiming to address. Okay, this session outlines the central issue or these research questions. Say, for example, how can a small retail businesses in India successfully implement e-commerce platforms to increase their market research? I'm saying this is an example for a research. This might be your problem. Okay, so you're going to find a solution for this type of problem. So that should be stated over here. And next one is scope of the study. You have to define the boundary of the study, specifying what is included and what is excluded from your research. So this is very important over here. Say, for example, I'm giving your topic is related to a small related businesses in urban areas. Means, so you have to inform here, you have to define here that the study focuses on small retail businesses in urban areas of India and exclude large scale retail chains. Okay, this is very important. So what you're doing and what you're not doing, it should be mentioned here. And next one is objectives of the study. So you have to outline the specific goal the researcher aims to achieve. So when giving the objective for a PhD research, more than 5 is not much important. Okay, so you can get the objectives should start like to find out the study, to identify the issues or identify the challenges faced by your topic, small businesses in adopting e-commerce or anything, or you're going to recommend strategies for a successful implementation. So this is the objectives of the study. Here is a place where you give your objective of the study. Next is the hypothesis to be tested. Here you have to state the hypothesis or the assumptions that the researcher will test, that the research will test. Here is, you're going to frame a hypothesis over here. So I can give you an example like It is hypothesized that a small retail businesses that implement e-commerce platforms experience higher revenue growth compared to those that do not do. Okay, here you're going to find out whether there is a relationship between the two variables, or you're going to determine the impact of any problem or the effect of any problem. So this is here you're going to test the hypothesis. Next is limitations of the study. Here you have to acknowledge any limitations or any issues or constraints you have faced during the research process. Uh, Here I can illustrate one. What is this study is limited to a sample of 50 small retail businesses in urban areas, and it may not reflect the entire retail sector. So here is a limitation that it is this study is only limited to 50 only, and it is not reflecting the entire retail sector. So this limitation have to be mentioned over here. Next is chapterization. In this section, it will provide you a brief overview of how the report is being organized, and the outline the content of each chapter. So likewise, chapter 1 is consisting of will give you an introduction. Chapter 2 will be focusing on will be existing about the literature review literatures, and chapter 3 will discuss on research methodology. Like chapter 4 will be giving you the data analysis, chapter 5 will be giving you the findings and conclusions and all. So this is called the chapterization. Under this topic, chapterization, these are the contents included. And the next chapter is review of literature. As I told you earlier, what is a review of literature? It is an overview of a previous study done on the topic which you have taken it. So a literature review is a written survey of existing knowledge in the field of study. How you should write a literature review? The literature review, first it should contain an author name or the researcher name. Next, should be followed by a title of the research. Then it should be followed by a year of publication, when the research has been published, or when the research or the thesis has been submitted. And then it should give your objective of the study. Then comes the methodology used in that study, and you should give a conclusion, or you can give the suggestion of that study. I have given you two examples for a review of literature. See here, Liaquat Ali, the name of the researcher, and it is followed by the year it has been published, and the objective of the made a study to critically analyze the factors of cyber crimes affecting the growth of banking sectors in the countries of Gulf. This is the objective. Then it is followed by the researcher adopted a pragmatic philosophy to gather diverse perspectives from the various sources. Then it has he is mentioning his targeted audience, targeted respondents. The respondents are bankers and the general public in that region. And the responses, the data collected is 350 responses, and with that responses, he collected data. He has analyzed using percentage analysis, and he has given the result from his research. Okay, this is and one more thing: the report should be written in Times New Roman style, font style only. So that's why I have given this in that style. That is also, and I have given another one review of literature, how it should be written. And next is chapter 3. Chapter 3 is research methodology. Research methodology in this chapter contains the nature of the research design. You have to specify whether the study is exploratory study, or a descriptive manner, or in an analytical research. So that should be clearly mentioned here. And for example, I'll give this research is a descriptive in nature, focusing on analyzing the impact of digital tools on small businesses. So it can be in this way, written in this way. Then comes the sources of data. You have to identify where the data was sourced from. That is, it may be Earlier, I have told you that it may be a primary data or a secondary data. That should be mentioned here. So primary data example is primary data was collected through surveys and secondary data was obtained from the industry report. So any one only you can choose for a research. Okay. If you're going for a primary data means the research, the source of the research, the source of the data is through questionnaires or surveys or interviews and all. And next comes these like for secondary data, it can be collected from the websites or journals or government publications or any magazines and all. You can get the data. Next is sample design and sample size. You have to describe the sample method you have used in the research. It may be a random sampling method or a stratified sampling method. And you have to mention the sample size. Say, for example, a random sampling technique was used with a sample size of 100 small business owners. This is an example I'm giving to you. And the next is technique you have used for data, collecting your data. What are all the technique you have used? As I told you previously, the technique is survey method. For a primary data, it is a survey method or an interview or an observation or census method and all. And you have also to mention the period during which the data is collected. Okay, that is very important. Say, for example, data was collected using online surveys between June 2023 to July 2024. So the period of your data collected has to be mentioned over here. Next, after collecting the data, so this is a pre-testing period. That is, we called it as a pilot study. Before going for a major study, just we take a sample of a 10 or you go for 100 or 500. It can be conducted that to test their validity and the reliability of the questionnaire, whether we are going in a right way. If they're in the pre-testing period or in a pilot survey, if a validity test or a reliability test comes under a proper below the significant level, then we are going in a right way. And then we can continue with the major study. Next is the data analysis. Data analysis is the place where the statistical tools and the other techniques are employed over here. Here you are outlining the statistical tools and the techniques used to analyze the data collected. For example, data was analyzed using SPSS software and descriptive statistics such as mean, standard deviation, and all. These are where used for analysis. Like that, you can mention. In this chapter ensures the credibility and the reliability of the research process. And then comes chapter 4. In the chapter 4 of your report, it consists of an analysis part and the interpretation part. Analysis and interpretation will focuses on presenting the findings of your research in a clear and a structured manner. This chapter includes tables, charts, and figures that illustrate the data you have collected. And interpretation and inference are made based on your result. Say you can use tables and charts to present your data visually, making it easier for the reader to understand and analyze. Say, for example, you can use bar charts, pie charts, showing the percentage increase in the digital tool usage among the small businesses over the past 5 years. This is an example. Okay, then you can interpret it. After presenting the data, you should explain what it means. Okay, you have to discuss the implication of your findings and how they relate to your research questions. So, for example, the data indicates that businesses with higher level of digital adoption experienced 30% greater growth in revenue. Say this is an example I'm giving you, right? And next is inference. You have to draw a conclusion based on the data and the interpretation, highlighting the key pattern or trend you have observed in the result. Okay, that's all about chapter 5. This is mainly related upon the tools you're using, the statistical tool you're using, and you're finding out, testing the level of significance with the results. And you are representing in it through charts, and you're interpreting and inference. Then is next is chapter 5. In chapter 5, you will be giving your what all you have found out in your research. Then you have to give suggestion and you have to conclude it. Okay. So the findings, when you're giving the findings, you have to clearly state the main finding from your research based on your analysis only, right? Say for example, you can how you give your finding means the study found that 80 percentage of, say for example, 80 percentage of small businesses lacked the necessary resources to implement the digital tool effectively. So you can give it in this way. This may be your finding, right? Next is the suggestion. So you can offer some recommendation to the audience, sorry, to the public or to the government and all. You can offer how means offer recommendations for addressing the issues you have identified in your research. Say for example, you can give a sentence like this: small businesses should receive government funded training programs on digital literacy. So likewise, you can give a recommendation or a suggestion to the audience or a public or the government also. It depends upon your topic you select. And the last one is a conclusion. So you should provide a concise conclusion, summarizing the overall insights from your research. Okay. Say I'm giving you an example once again, sticking on to the same topic. Digital transformation is crucial for small businesses to remain competitive, but there is a significant gap in resources and knowledge that must be addressed. Okay, this chapter brings you closer to your research and provides a foundation for future studies or a practical implementation. So the conclusion might be like this. And next is supplementary material or referencing section. Here is this section includes some additional information that supports your research, but it is not essential to the main body of your report because it ensures that your research is properly credited and followed academic standard. Right. First is appendices. This appended in this chapter, sorry, not a chapter, in this section, you should include the detailed information that supported your study, but is too lengthy to be in the main chapter, such as the raw data, some additional tables if you have any, or any survey instruments. These and all can be included in the appendices. Say, for example, survey questions, the questionnaire which you have used for your study purpose can be included in this appendices. Next is the references. Here you have to list all the sources you have cited throughout your report. So what are all the articles you have gone through, or any research papers or any theses you have referred for your study. These can be mentioned or give a list out in the reference section. So you should ensure you are following the appropriate citation style while giving the details or listing out the references. You have to follow. You should be appropriate. You should follow an appropriate model, whether you are giving it an APA style or MLA style. And next comes the bibliography. This bibliography, you should include a list of all the sources you have consulted, even if you have not directly cited them in the report. That all comes under bibliography. Then annexures. Annexures means any additional material that is referred in the report, such as official documents or detailed results, should be placed in the annexures. For example, I can give that government report on digital literacy program. So that can be included in the annexure. It should not be included in the appendix, only in the annexures. Okay, so these are the content or the components of writing before submitting your report. So your report should consist of these three main things. First thing is preliminary pages, next in body of the report, and third one is supplementary material or referencing section. Okay, I may give you some precautions for writing a research report. The research report should be length and should have some lengthy and some clarity also, but should have a should be long enough to cover the subject, but short enough to maintain the interest. And next is sustaining the reader's interest. So the report should be engaging and not dull. For that, you have to use clear and a simple language to maintain the reader's attention. So the person who's looking over through your report means, your research paper means, your language should be so simple and it should be clear so that his attention is focused fully on your report and your thesis only. You have to avoid technical terminologies in abstract. So first we will be reading your abstract only. Okay, so the abstract should be free from complex terminology and technical languages. It should give a clear overview without diving into the specifics. Okay. Next, availability of findings. So the findings of the research must be presented clearly. Next, then it should be original, then a proper appendix listing, then bibliography and citation, then it should be attractive, it should have an attractive and a professional appearance. So these are the precautions which you have to follow while writing a report. Thank you to all participants.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your wonderful presentation. I hope the participants would have a clear-cut idea about report writing. Now it's the second session. The topic is about plagiarism and ethics in writing. The resource person is Professor Venkatesan. Now I'll introduce the resource person. He's a professor in Department of Business Studies at Sri Manakala Nagar Engineering College, Puducherry. With 12 years of dedicated teaching experience, he has significantly contributed to shaping the academic landscape of the institution. He holds a bachelor degree in commerce from Tiruvallur University and MBA from Periyar University with a specialization in finance and marketing. He further advanced his academic journey by completing his PhD from Annamalai University, focusing on impactful research in the field. As an active participant in academic development, he has enriched his professional expertise by participating in numerous seminars, workshops, and faculty development programs. His commitment to creating an enriching learning environment that promotes intellectual growth, professional development, and societal contribution. Now I hand over the session to Professor Venkatesan. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, introducing to me. Now we are discuss about the topic of plagiarism and ethics in writing. Plagiarism is the act of presenting someone else's work or ideas as your own without giving proper credit to the original author. It is considered a form of theft and a violation of honesty, especially in academic environment. Next, this diagram highlights the 7 types of plagiarism, which serve as a reminder of the importance of academic integrity and ethical writing practices. Now let's talk about the mosaic plagiarism. It is when you present ideas borrowed from another source in your work without using quotation marks. It can also involve rewriting in the original concept by substituting while keeping the structure and meaning intact. This type of plagiarism can be tricky to identify, but it's still a violation of academic integrity. Next, accidental plagiarism. In this type of plagiarism is unintentional in nature. It happens when someone forgets to cite the source of the information they have included in their work. It can also occur when writers perhaps them using similar words without proper credit. Next, discuss direct plagiarism. When someone copies or pastes another person's words in their own work without giving proper credit to the original author. In this plagiarism, to avoid a simple, always cite the original source and use quotation marks for any exact wording that you include in your work. And next, move on to self-plagiarism. When students or writers reuse their own previous work in the present, it is new or original. For example, submitting an old assignment while claiming it's exclusive. And then next, complete plagiarism. The consequence of complete plagiarism are most serious as it directly undermines the principles of originality and honesty that are foundational to academic and professional integrity. It is universally in academic, creative, and professional context on often resulting disciplinary action, such as actions, legal consequence, and damage to personal and professional reputations. And next on the left, we see the original source, which is a stated eye tracking research help us to see the detail of how users look at the content and how they choose to skip or read it. When you write or edit on a web page, keep in mind that how you present your content is likely to favor one of the four text scanning patterns. For example, F pattern, quarter, layer cake, and commitment patterns. On the right, under the source-based plagiarism, the text reads eye tracking research as if the user will decide to read the content. When you write, edit, or organizing text on a web page, you must create a content that includes all text scanning patterns. Next, paraphrasing plagiarism, the failure to adequate cite the re-recording of another person's original text. This type of plagiarism arises when you change the words, but you still present another person's concept of your own. Next, how to avoid plagiarism. Keep track of the sources you consult in your research. And second thing, paraphrasing or quoting from your sources. And third one, crediting the original author in an in-text citation and in your reference list. And next one is using a plagiarism checker before you submitting your research report. And next we are discuss about the plagiarism detection tools. First one is Council of Writing Program Administrators, and another one is the Harvard College Writing Programs Guide to Using Sources, and third thing is Authenticate, and fourth one Plagiarism Organizations, and next one is plagiarismtracker.com, and next one is Turnitin, and next one is Right Check, and last one is Grammarly. Most of the people to be used in the plagiarism tools is Turnitin. And next topic is ethics in writing. Ethics play a fundamental role in ensuring integrity, credibility, and respect of the work of others. Adhering to ethical principles not only build trust but also uphold the quality of your research. In the following points, we'll explore the key ethical principles and practices that should guide your writing process to maintain this stand. And let being the first principles of ethics in writing, honesty and accuracy. Maintain data integrity is crucial. Ensure your data is accurate, reliable, and free from manipulation. And next is a clarity. Present your ideas in a clear and straightforward manner to avoid any misinterpretation. Finally, acknowledge the limitation of your work. Be transparent about any constraints or areas that need further exploration, as this reflects integrity and builds trust in your research. Next, avoid plagiarism. We have already discussed about the how to avoid the plagiarism in the previous slide. And next, move on to respect of intellectual property. Respecting intellectual property means acknowledging the work and contribution of others. This involves properly crediting their creation and ideas in your own work. It also protecting their work from unauthorized use, ensuring that you don't misuse or their effort without permission. Next, the point is discuss about the acknowledgement of contributions. It is recognizing and appreciating the efforts of individuals who have played a role in your work. This could include collaborators, advisors, or anyone who have significantly supported your project or research. Next, a conflict of interest. Let's now focus on the conflict of interest research. When an individual involved in a research study has a personal, financial, would potentially influence their work. This conflict can compromise the integrity and objectivity of research is not properly disclosed or managed in your research. And next, now let's discuss adhering to ethical guidelines. In these guidelines is true to one value in ensuring that all actions align with the established ethical principles. This commitment to ethics applies to various contexts such as your workplace, research, and academic settings. By following these guidelines, individuals can uphold integrity and contribute to fair and ethical environment. Let's talk about the avoid multiple submissions. To prevent multiple submission, especially in online platform, you can implement server-side validations and tracking mechanism. This system ensures that each submission is unique and prevents duplicate entries. Another effective method is looking form after the first submission, ensuring user cannot resubmit the same form or data again. And next, discuss a human and animal research ethics. In this, both human and animal are guided by the principles, but they are share a common purpose to protect the rights, dignity, and welfare of the subject involved. For human research, these include a informed consent, privacy, and maximizing human. For animal research is focused on human treatment, reducing unnecessary suffering, and using alternative wherever possible. Adhering to this ethical standard is essential to ensure responsible and respectable research practices. And next one is a transparency and reproducibility. It's openly sharing your research methods, data, and findings, allowing to others to understand and evaluate your work. Reproducibility refers to the ability of others researchers to do your study using the same method and achieving similar results. Both transparency and reproducibility are critical for improving research integrity and building trust in a scientific findings. They ensure that research is credible, reliable, and valuable to scientific community. Thank you for participant.
Thank you so much. Participants, kindly attend the poll session now. Okay. And unmute Thank you so much for attending the poll. As we come to the end of the session of the FTP program, I would like to sum up about the 7 days FTP. Day one, we saw about introduction to research. In this section, the resource person introduced the concept of research, purpose, types, and the role generating new knowledge and solving problems, and how to understand the research and how it is a systematic inquiry process. In day two, we saw about a review of literature. As a literature review involves reviewing existing research on a topic to identify gaps, build upon previous work, and framing the research questions. It provides a theoretical basis and also a background for the study. And day three, it's about fundamentals of conceptual framework. So here the resource person discusses about the creation of a conceptual framework which visually represents the relationship between the key variables and guides of the research design and offering a theoretical structure for understanding the phenomena. Then day 4 talks about data collection techniques. Here the resource person shared the methods and what are the data to how to collect the data and how to conduct the surveys and interviews and experiments. It emphasizes choosing the appropriate techniques to ensure the data reliability, validity, and relevance of the research objectives. And day 5 talks about the resource person talks about hypothesis testing one. He shared the knowledge about the basics of hypothesis testing, including null and alternative hypothesis, significance level, and understanding the statistical errors. It lays the foundation for analyzing data and making inferences. In day 6, we saw about a hypothesis testing 2, where the resource person explored more advanced statistical methods such as t-test, ANOVA, and regression analysis for testing hypothesis. It focuses on how to interpret results and draw conclusions based on statistical evidence. And day 7, that is today, we saw about report writing, plagiarism issue, and ethics in writing. This section emphasizes the importance of writing clear and well-structured research reports. It also covers ethical considerations such as avoiding plagiarism, proper citation, and ensuring integrity in the presentation of the research finding. As we draw to the end of today's session, I would like to thank each and every one of your active participation. A special thanks to the esteemed resource persons whose expertise and passion have truly made this FDP an enriching experience. It has been an honor to be a host today. Thank you. Now I invite Professor Santosh Krishna to propose the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, one and all present here. On behalf of the Department of Business Studies and the organization. On behalf of the Department of Business Studies and the organizing committee, it is my privilege to extend heartfelt gratitude to everyone who has contributed to the success of the 7-day faculty development program on research methodology for social sciences. First and foremost, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to our chief patron, Sri M. Dhanasekaran sir, Chancellor of Takeshila University and Chairman and Managing Director of Sri Manakalanayagar Educational Trust for his visionary leadership and unwavering support. A sincere thanks to Dr. K. Narayanasamy sir, Sri D. Rajarajan sir, and S. Velayadam sir for the guidance and encouragement in organizing this event. And I extend my heartfelt thanks to our patrons, Dr. V.S.K. Venkatachalapati sir and Dr. Muthulashmi ma'am for the valuable insights and the continuous motivation. And special thanks to our convener, Dr. G. Balasindil Kumar sir, for his dedicated efforts in planning and executing this program seamlessly. Your leadership has been truly inspiring, sir. And I also wish to express my deepest gratitude to program coordinators, Professor N. Kirubashankar sir and Professor B. Anand sir, for their constant support and exceptional coordination in ensuring the program success. And a big thank to you all resource persons and speakers who enriched this program with the knowledge and expertise Your sessions have undoubtedly empowered all participants into invaluable insights into research methodology. To the participants, research scholars, faculty members, and professionals, thank you for your active involvement and enthusiasm. And throughout the section, your curiosity and questions have made this program even more vibrant. Finally, I wish to thank the organizing team, technical support staffs, and everyone who worked behind the scenes to ensure the smooth running of this FTB. Let us continue to strive for academic excellence and innovation in research. Once again, thank you all of you for making this program a grand success. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you so much for all the participants. We have posted the feedback link in the chat box, and also there will be an assessment link that also will be posted in the chat box. And the assessment link will be open active till 10 p.m. today. Kindly fill both the links, feedback form as well as the assessment form. Thank you so much. The feedback link is shared in the chat box, as well as the assessment link is also shared in the chat box. I request the participants to fill both the links, and the assessment link will be active till tonight 10 p.m. Dear participants, you will be receiving the certificate within 15 working days. The registration team will process all the things, and we will share the certificate to you. Please be patient. Kindly fill the feedback form and the assessment form. All the 7 days attendance and feedback form will be checked. Thank you. Participants, kindly, the response is now accepting. Kindly submit the form again. The link has been posted again also.